We're now in the dead zone known as the off season before training camp, so it's very quiet. There's nothing happening. But that won't stop us into looking into some things surrounding the Eagles. Here we're looking at some over/under and some things that may or may not be pertinent to the season. But who knows? What's up, it's your boy Cintron. Come back into another analysis/meeting news video. And I kid you not, that's my real name. Not really news, I should say. Analysis. We'll get to him later. But 28 over-unders for the 2023 Eagles season. Will Jalen Hurts' passer rating continue to climb? Will Cam Jurgens be the starter at right guard week 1? And will A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith have more receiving yards? Well, anyways, let's dive into it. So Jalen Hurts' passer rating over/under 94.6. I would have to say it's going to be over, but definitely under the 101.5 he had in 2022. And I would say, but not by much. I would still see him, in the mid to high 90s. All right, more rushing yards in 2023. DeAndre Swift or Rashard Penny. Definitely going with Swift here. He's been the one that's had the better injury luck, and Rashard Penny just has tapped out past 2 years, 5 games, 6 games. So we can't rely on him. So I think you'd have to go with DeAndre Swift unless you're really banking hard on the pennies to the dollar. Marcus Mariota, game starter, over/under 1.5. I would say, projecting from what Jalen Hurts has been in the past, what his record has been, as far as starts goes, a track record. 2, I have to say, over at 2 games, but realistically, I'd hope it'd be at just 1, and he would sit maybe in like a bye week in week 18, a meaningless game, hopefully, but we shall see. But it's slated for 2, but I hope it's not more because he's missed some games, and he had to come in and play that Giants game the last week of the season to clinch that home field advantage throughout the playoffs for us. But other than that, man, it could have been worse. That hard turf that he hit himself, or he got driven into in the Windy City in Chicago. That injury to the shoulder could have been broken. It was a strain with the muscle. But yeah, we got fortunate. More receiving yards, A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith. I definitely go with A.J. Brown because he's been the key cog that serves the drink here in Philadelphia. That same Devonta Smith, I think the split will be more even this year, maybe 1,200, 1,300, or 1,300 in favor of AJ. But I think his numbers come down a little bit, and then Devonta's go up some. More receiving yards, Quez Watkins or Olamide Zaccheaus. This is a tough one, man. I think I'd have to go with Quez, just because I see him winning the battle. Even though I think Olamide is the better fit in the slot, I think Quez is going to have a fire lit up under him, and he's really going to play hard and really take this competition seriously, and is what he needed last year to elevate his game. So, and then he can also play on the outside as well. We might use him there just as some rest for A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. And hopefully neither one of them gets injured as well, because we are semi-screwed if they do. Number 6, true or false? Cam Jurgens will be the starting right guard week 1. True. I think he wins the battle. Tyler Seen's going to give him a good fight, but he's a rookie. And just a year in the system has worked to Cam's favor, I believe. He's gotten stronger. He's well-versed on the system. And his technique, he's strengthened it even more so than it was already, well-polished coming out of Nebraska. They get those O-linemen right there in that system. And yeah, that he'll just be steps ahead of him, having had a year in the program. So more snaps played at right guard, Cam Jurgens or any other player. I mean, this goes in the same. I don't even want to see why this is being asked as a similar question. But number 8, Dallas Goedert receiving yards, over, under 830.5. I think he eclipses 830.5 yards. He had 702 in 12 games, and he missed for, was it 5 games? I didn't know he missed 5, but they held him out for 1 just because Chicago game, because it was cold. They wanted that to be his first game, going off an injury in a cold game. and just having it affecting that bone because it was broken. But that being said, I think he has somewhere in the neighborhood of 900 to 1,000 yards. Definitely can get it done, man. He's a talented guy, and he's third in pecking order. And the offense changed when he went out. So him being in there, man, he changes so much, and he opens up the middle of the field, intermediate areas, and clears out for other players. And he plays off of AJ Brown and Devonta Smith perfectly. All right, number 9, more defensive snaps played. Nicholas Morrow or Christian Ellis. I'm gonna go out here with maybe a shocker to some of you. I'm gonna say Christian Ellis because I think he wins the starting job. The guy's just been building momentum, even going into last season. He wasn't even anything close to being a starter or even a sub, but he kind of got his head around playing the position, and something clicked with him, and we saw highlighted of it a bit in that Titans game where he played alongside Nakobe Dean. That was like the future basically this year. They're two players at the linebacker position slated to play significant snaps, and depending on Nicholas Morrow seizing the job or not. But I'm excited to see that battle in training camp to see how it goes. But it could be back and forth. But man, don't count out the young pup Christian Ellis, man. He has elevated his game, obviously picking off Hurts and Mariota in the OTAs. And yes, it's just them playing around in shorts. But that being said, man, he has put in the work. So let's see if he can continue it over to the regular season. Jalen Hurts sacks over under 4.2. I'd say over. I'd have him at 5. Because I don't think he'll be a tremendous threat. But that being said, the guys around him just going to open up lanes for him. Particularly his running mate in Jordan Davis. He's going to be clogging, so he's going to be free to just gap, penetrate against the run, as well as get to the passer. And you can't double team everybody. And depending game to game, situation to situation, and what they're trying to do to the defense and how to try and manipulate them. But you have guys that you're more concerned about: Brandon Graham, Hassan Reddick, Jordan Davis, and his ability to be a force field. But yeah, I mean, Josh Sweat. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays off and how he's able to eat off of other guys, scraping food onto his plate. And as we just mentioned, number 11, Jordan Davis sack numbers over under 2.2. I'd say under, but just barely, like 2. I haven't actually having an uptick, but he could have 3 or 4. But it all depends on how they use him. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I think he's just going to be primarily used to open up things for other guys. Instead of them playing towards him being the disruptor. Number 12, Jordan Davis plays snaps played in the regular defense over under 399.5. It was a discount deal. I'd say definitely upwards, but more in the neighborhood of 400 to 500. And yeah, man, I don't think I'm going to play him too much. And there's not too many guys that did. I mean, there's not a guy, only guy size-wise we have on our roster is Christian Ellis. I forget. He's the brother of Chris Ellis or whatever his name is. I think Noah Ellis. He's like 360 something pounds, and he can mimic Jordan in that size, but no one can imitate that athletic ability. Runs a 4.78 at 330 pounds, 6'6" frame. Just a behemoth, man. His get up, his speed. He can hawk guys down at that size. It's scary. I saw that running at me, man. Watch out. But yeah, I think he easily plays that 400 to 500 snaps in his defense. Just like I said, if he's not on the field, who we're going to replace him with? Not a lot of guys on his roster that can fill that spot physically or in play. Number 13, Nolan Smith sack numbers over under 2.2. Definitely, man, over. Could see him having like 6 to 7. I'll settle on like 7 sacks, so maybe 6 to be safe. But yeah, man, he's a guy that he's very athletic, and I'm gonna be interested to see what packages we get him on the field with. Who we team him up with. It's gonna be him and Brandon Graham as the second guys, with him occupying Reddick's spot and Brandon occupying Josh Sweat's spot. Josh is a speed guy. He runs a 4.53 coming off the edge. him and Sweat, or the speed rushers like him, Reddick, Sweat, and Brandon Graham and Nolan, all across the board speed guys. I mean, like, not most likely not, because we're gonna have one D tackle in there, but there's so much flexibility and so much creativity to be had with these this group of guys, and we'll dive into that when we look at Nolan Smith and what he can do in this defense as a role player, as a joker, playing a multitude of different roles. So, number 14, Nakobe Dean, over under 129.5 tackles. I'd say over. I'll put him in the 130s. TJ Edwards had 130 2021 and then 159 in 2022. And yeah, he was just all over the place, limited by his athletic ability, but a solid guy, a heady guy, and the captain of our defense. Or I'd say the signal caller, so the head honcho of our defense. But Nakobe's more athletic, and he can fly around the field. So I'd say 130 is about right. Hassan Reddick, sack numbers over under 13.2. I would say under. I put him at 12. But I wouldn't be surprised if he has more, man. But I think people are just gonna be checking for him this year and more, like trying to double team him, taking him out, making sure he doesn't affect the offensive game plan too much. But that being said, other guys, you can't double him all the time, because you're gonna have Sweat, you're gonna have Reddick. I mean, not Reddick. You're gonna have Graham. You're gonna have Jordan Davis. You're gonna have Jalen Carter. In backups, man. Our second string could be some people's starting lines, man. It's crazy the talent we have and the depth we have on our lines here, man. Or I say lines, D tackle, D end. Definitely not offensive. We don't have depth like that, but those guys are more seen as a mainstays versus defensive rotational guys. All right, number 16, true or false? Ndamukong Suh or Linval Joseph will be on the Eagles 53-man roster at any point during the 2023 season. False, because I don't see. I mean, they could turn it in, but I think we have enough depth. We'd have to have a little bit of a catastrophic situation going on for us to call either one of these guys. So, fortunately, hopefully that's not the case. But fortunately, if it is, we do have familiarity with these guys, bringing them in mid-season last year after the Texans game. So definitely going to be opposed to it, man, and know they're going to come at a set price, and they're going to have a strong impact. More interceptions, Darius Slay or James Bradbury? I think Slay. James Bradbury was the All-Pro last year, second team. That being said, man, the way Slay played in week 2, I think that's more projected to what he's going to be able to play close to this year. And I think Desai will just be smart in the way he deploys him, give him a challenge, let him travel more, and let him shut down guys' number one option, man. And I think if we do deploy him more like that, man, we're gonna get a motivated, a Slay that we haven't seen over the course of 16 games here, now 17 in Philly, man. I mean, I'm excited and inspired to see what we're gonna get from him and how he's gonna lead the charge in that secondary, because we have two solid guys on the outside, and we just need decent play in the back end, man. That's it. All right, number 18, Eagles Pro Bowl players, over under 7.5. I have us at 8. I see Jalen Hurts, 3 linemen, so either left tackle or left guard, Jordan Mailata or Leonard Dickerson, Kelsey, and Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson. So the 3 guys there, Devonta Smith or A.J. Brown, one of those 2. Dallas Goedert, I have him going to the Pro Bowl this year if he stays healthy. Hassan Reddick. Then we have Darius Slay. So that's 8 guys. We could have more. I mean, that's kind of on the reasonable end, but there's so much talent on this roster, just crazy. 19, more defensive snaps played, Reed Blankenship or Sidney Brown. I'm gonna go with Reed Blankenship just because I think he gets to start. That being said, Sidney Brown could be playing in 3 safety packages, playing in dime because he did play in the box in college, and there's a frame 5'10", like 210 guy. The two play there. We'll see if he has the chops. I don't know if they deploy that, give that look in training camp and see, just to test it out, see what he can do. So, it'll be interesting, but it'll get more snaps than people expect just because we're going to go with multiple safety looks at the same time. Number 20, Eagles wins over the Dallas Cowboys, playoffs included. Over under 1.5. I have a set 1-1, so it's just like a cancellation. We could sweep them, yeah. And I don't, but I don't think they make the playoffs this year, so I'm declaring that. I think if they do make the playoffs, they're I don't have to make the playoffs as a wild card, but one and done. That's it. So another setback in Big D this year. Big D being big disappointment. 21 touchdowns by former UGA players. Over under 9.5. I have under because other than not Devonta Smith, he was Alabama guy. Ole Miss with AJ Brown, SEC guys though. Because SEC guys that have been smarter. But other than a running back, DeAndre Swift, Agent Zero, I don't have him getting that many TDs, man. Even combined receiving and rushing. But there could be a caveat. If he employed Jalen Carter on offense in a tight end position, a fullback. Nah, even then, I'm just playing around. But that is something to tease, though. I hope that we mess with people's heads and plant that in their mind that, hey, the guy's athletic and he is multiple. So, I mean, I really hope they earnestly do that they employ that just to add such depth to our trickeration. All right, 22. True or false, Aaron Siposs will be the week 1 punter? I'd say so. I think he beats out the youngster, Ty Zettner. He's currently battling in OTAs and, going to be battling in training camp. I just think he has the requisite experience. And, I hope we hold on to Ty on the practice squad. I think anybody's going to reach and try to steal him. I mean, they could, though, because it's cheap enough. But only in cases of emergency. But it would be great to employ that kid for the foreseeable future because he can also place kick in an emergency. Eagles wins while wearing Kelly Green. I'm not even interested in this question. Who cares? All right, the Saints second round pick owned by the Eagles. Over under number 50.5. So 33 to 50 would be it's a good pick for us. 33 was like pretty much almost a borderline first rounder. But 51 to 64 is like obviously a higher pick. Saying they did well. I think it's gonna be right around that mark. I would say that 50, 51. So I think they're gonna play well enough to get 8-9 wins because they're the best team in the AFC, the NFC South. That's not saying much though. So I think they'll be 1 and done in the playoffs as well because they're just running into better talent and being king of the AFC and the NFC South doesn't say much for your squad, but they do have the best squad there, so they should take advantage. Eagles win total over under 11.5. I have a set like the ceiling. I mean the floor being 11, so I would say like 12 wins. I have 13 projected, but I would say 12 is a good number. Just because, there's some things, depending on how things go and who we play and accounting for injuries. We had great injury luck last year, expecting that to come back down to earth more so this year. And, it's just so many factors to take into consideration. How we use the pass game, run game, and, if we're able, coming up against, some opponents in back-to-back and, Monday night games and then Thursday night and then short, weekend and traveling across the country, so many factors to take into consideration. All right, number 26, true or false, the Eagles will win the NFC East. True, actually, was winning it. This will be the first time in several seasons, I want to say, and they've been going back to 2005 since the team has won the division back to back. I think we finally break that streak this year, and we're the strongest team in the NFC East, and we punch a ticket for the division crown, which we don't really care about because that's just a stepping stone. It's just a ticket. We really want a advanced ticket, that being the first round bye. All right, 27. Eagles assistants lost their head coaching jobs in 2024. Over under 0.5. Man, I have under because I don't think anybody's gonna pick our guys for a head coaching job. I could say maybe one, and Brian Johnson, our offensive coordinator, but yeah, I don't have him. And or it could be Sean Desai if he plays, if he coaches well, but I would say under. I would say 0 right now. And the last question here, true or false, Derek Barnett will be on the 53-man roster week 1. I'd say yes. Contrary to popular opinion, we still are invested in him, and we see him as someone who can play a part in the rotation. Albeit we don't have great expectations of him. And he's a guy that we have on a multiple year dummy contract. We have like 4 or 5 dummy years with him. It would hurt us cutting him. But I wouldn't be surprised if we did, but I'd see him on the roster week 1 in September. Anyways, this is the over-under 28. So let's get into a little bit more of, I can say news, but some analysis going on here. So I didn't like him, really. Eagles news. Jordan Davis ranks high in interior defender rankings. And that's very misleading because he's right here at number 19. I'm like, that's not high at all. That's like almost at the halfway, no, not halfway point. If he was at top 15, maybe. But, I mean, it's high enough and whatnot. Okay, let's just read it. There's some projection here with Davis. He played just 270 snaps in the regular season and playoffs combined last year. But he should pair with fellow former Georgia Bulldog Jalen Carter to spearhead the Eagles' defensive interior by the end of the 2023 season. Davis registered 10 tackles, resulting in defensive stop from 142 snaps against the run and flashes a pass rusher, including 4 pressures on 14 pass rushing snaps against the Commanders in Week 3. And man, that for me was something I didn't even know. I didn't even know he registered that many pressures. So he had 0 sacks thing last year, or like a 0.5 sacks. I don't think, maybe he had 0 though. Either way, he still had 0. He was a 0.5 technicality there. But man, to see him have that high rate of pressure, I don't know what that is. It's like close to the 28%, 27%, something like that. Rough math, but anyways, that's a high number on 14 pass rushing snaps. So just shows his ability, man, and that's scary. And I hope they actually, involve him more in the pass rush and do that more this year. Like I said, that would just complicate things exponentially and further deepen the issues, the deep-seated insecurities that offenses have going up against him. Like, okay, he's gonna clog, cool. He's gonna control the line of scrimmage, cool. Oh damn, he's coming. Man, that's a totally different picture. But anyways, on that note, contemplate that. We're gonna get up out of here, but it's cool. You're not even watching though. But as always, it's fly Eagles fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, subscribe Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.